Hey guys, tonight we step softly into the mists of ancient Korea, where a lone monk walks through mountain villages cloaked in fog, where lanterns glow dimly and the night whispers of things forgotten. You can almost smell the cold stone, the damp earth, the faint trace of wood smoke curling up through the air. But here's the kicker. You probably won't survive this. Not because it's dangerous, but because the restless mind you bring into tonight's journey may not come out the same. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And let me know in the comments where you're tuning in from and what time it is for you right now. Now, dim the lights. Maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. The monk moved carefully along the narrow path, his straw sandals damp from the morning's dew. The village had been hidden when he arrived, wrapped in dense fog like an old secret. Ahead, faint golden orbs shimmered through the mist, the lanterns. He smiled softly to himself, pulling his robes tighter as a chill breeze snaked through the trees. You walk beside him, feeling the cool air against your skin, hearing the muffled hush of the world around you. Every sound is softened by the fog, the rustle of small creatures, the occasional hoot of an owl, the faint crackle of lantern light flickering in the dampness. There is no rush here. Each step lands softly. Each breath puffs out like a small cloud before your face. In the village, the lanterns are hung low, their paper skins glowing against the darkness. Old women sit outside their doorways, knitting or shelling beans, nodding quietly as the monk passes. Children dart through the streets, their laughter subdued as if they, too, are wrapped in the fog. The monk stops before a shrine, a small wooden structure tucked under the crooked branches of an ancient pine. He kneels and lights a single lantern, watching as the tiny flame blooms and steadies. You kneel beside him, feeling the earth cold and slightly damp beneath your knees. The flame flickers gently, its warm glow dancing on your hands. The monk turns to you and speaks, not with his voice, but with the slow, deliberate movements of lighting the lantern. You realize this is the lesson. One small light can dissolve a vast darkness. Your mind begins to quiet, watching the steady glow. You notice how the fog eddies and swirls around the lantern, but the light is unmoved. You focus on your breathing, matching the slow rhythm of the flickering flame. Inhale, hold, exhale, hold. The world shrinks to this moment, this tiny circle of light in the vast night. The monk gently sets another lantern beside the first, then another. Slowly, methodically, he fills the small shrine with these glowing orbs. You help him, feeling the softness of the paper, the roughness of the wick, the warmth of the flame. Each light you add feels like easing a knot inside you, loosening the tight hold of restless thoughts. When the last lantern is lit, the monk sits back and watches. You do too. Together you sit in silence, bathed in the soft golden glow. No words are needed. Here in the fog, you understand something you've always known, but often forget. The restless mind can calm, not by force, but by gentle presence, by lighting one small flame of awareness. The night deepens, but instead of growing darker, it feels lighter. You can hear the quiet murmurs of the village, the crackle of the lanterns, the subtle shifts of wind through the pines. Nothing is rushed, nothing is pushed away. As the monk rises, you follow him back through the village. He moves slowly, calmly, as if the lantern light has settled into his bones. You feel it too, a soft warmth inside, a quiet glow that wasn't there before. Walking through the fog, you realize that you are carrying the lantern within you now. It lights the way ahead, even when the path is hidden. You feel the restless thoughts drift by like mist, but they no longer tug at you. They can pass. You can let them. The monk pauses on a hill overlooking the village. Below, the lanterns flicker gently, tiny stars scattered across the earth. He nods to you, a small, knowing smile on his lips. You understand without needing words. Tonight, you learned the first secret of easing the restless mind. You don't need to chase the thoughts away. You just need to light one small flame of stillness. You sit on the hill, watching the lanterns glow through the fog, the village quiet and peaceful. The monk disappears into the mist, but his presence lingers. You feel a deep calm settling into your chest, a sense that you are exactly where you need to be. The night hums softly around you, the faint rustle of leaves, the whisper of the wind, the gentle glow of lanterns in the fog. You close your eyes and breathe, knowing you carry this quiet light with you now. No need to rush, no need to solve anything. Just sit, just breathe. Just be here with the lanterns in the mist. The bamboo groves stretched out before you like an endless sea. They're tall, slender trunks swaying slightly even though no wind touched them. You follow the monk's quiet footsteps along a narrow path, the earth soft beneath your feet. The night has deepened, the moon rising pale and thin overhead, casting long shadows that dance between the bamboo. You hear the soft hiss of the leaves, whispering to one another. It's as if the bamboo knows something you don't. Something ancient, something quiet, something just out of reach. The monk stops ahead, standing still among the stalks. You feel your own breath catch, your heart beating faster. Though you're not sure why. Maybe it's the way the silence here isn't empty. It's full, dense, alive. Without a word, he gestures for you to sit. You lower yourself onto the ground, feeling the coolness seep through your clothes. The monk settles beside you, eyes closed, body relaxed but upright. You try to match his posture, adjusting your shoulders, uncurling your hands, resting them softly on your knees. The restless mind wants to chatter, to fidget, to fill the space. But here, in this bamboo hush, you realize something unusual. The stillness is bigger than you. It doesn't need your noise. The monk opens his eyes briefly, giving you a small nod, then closes them again. You let your gaze drift upward, watching the way the moonlight filters through the thin leaves, casting a lace of shadows across the ground. You listen, not just with your ears, but with your whole body. The bamboo creaks softly as it bends, the leaves brushing together like old friends sharing secrets. Somewhere far off, a night bird calls, its voice clear and delicate. With each breath, you feel yourself sink a little deeper into this quiet. The chatter in your mind softens. The lists, the worries, the what-ifs, they're still there, but they're no longer pulling at you. They drift like clouds past the tops of the bamboo, and you let them pass. The monk begins to breathe more audibly now, a slow, steady rhythm that you naturally fall into. Inhale deeply through the nose, feel the belly expand. Exhale softly, let the shoulders drop, again and again. Like waves lapping at the shore, you notice your thoughts trying to sneak back in, like small animals testing the edge of the clearing. But here's the gentle truth the bamboo teaches. You don't need to chase the thoughts away. You only need to let them come and go like wind through the leaves. The monk reaches into his sleeve and pulls out a small bamboo flute. Without ceremony, he lifts it to his lips and begins to play. The notes are soft, low, weaving into the night like smoke. You feel the vibrations in your chest, the melody threading through your ribs. As he plays, you close your eyes. The music carries you deeper, not away from yourself, but further in. You imagine the bamboo roots beneath you, sinking into the dark earth, anchoring you. You feel the thin trunks rising all around, their tips brushing the sky, flexible yet unbreakable. Each note of the flute is like a breath, like a thread stitching your restless mind back into wholeness. You let go of needing to follow the tune, needing to get it. You simply sit, breathe, listen. Time slips. You don't know how long the monk plays. The moon rises higher, the shadows shift. The bamboo groves whisper on, their thin voices lulling you deeper into stillness. When the flute stops, the silence is even richer than before, filled with the afterglow of music. You open your eyes slowly, feeling a surprising warmth in your chest, a kind of looseness in your limbs. The monk smiles softly, his eyes crinkling at the corners. He tucks the flute away and rises, motioning for you to follow. You stand, feeling the earth solid beneath your feet, the bamboo standing tall around you like quiet sentinels. As you walk through the grove, you notice how different the night feels now. The restlessness that pressed at you earlier has softened. You don't feel the need to fill the space with words or thoughts or movement. You can simply walk, simply be. The monk leads you to a small clearing where moonlight spills across the ground like silver water. He kneels and draws a circle in the dirt with his finger. You watch, curious, as he then draws a single line through the circle. He looks up at you, his gaze gentle but piercing. You understand. The circle is the whole, the complete, the still. The line is the restless mind cutting through it. But here's the secret. You can always return to the whole. You don't have to live in the slash. You kneel beside the monk, feeling the cool earth beneath your hands. You close your eyes, imagining the circle whole again, the line dissolving back into stillness. You feel your breath slow, your mind soften. Above, the bamboo whispers on, their thin voices a reminder you don't need to conquer your thoughts. You only need to sit quietly among them, letting the breeze pass through. The monk rises, and you follow. Together, you walk slowly back through the grove, the moonlight casting gentle patterns on the ground. You carry the hush of the bamboo inside you now, a quiet space you can return to whenever the world feels too loud. As you leave the grove, you glance back once. The tall stalks sway slightly, their leaves shimmering softly in the moonlight. You smile, knowing they will always be here, whispering their ancient secrets, waiting to remind you how to sit still. The moon has dipped lower now, casting its pale light across a quiet courtyard lined with smooth stones and a few gnarled old trees. You follow the monk's soft footsteps, the sound of your sandals brushing lightly against the ground. The night air is cool, carrying the faint scent of pine and damp earth. Ahead, a small tea house stands, its paper windows glowing faintly from a single candle within. The monk gestures for you to enter. You step softly over the threshold, slipping into the warmth of the room. Inside, the space is simple: a low table, 2 cushions, and a small teapot sitting beside 2 empty teacups. The monk settles onto one cushion, and you follow, feeling the soft give of the mat beneath you. He pours tea slowly, deliberately, the steam curling up in delicate spirals. You watch as he lifts his own cup, but before he drinks, he tips it slightly, and the tea spills out onto the floor. You blink confused. Then he fills it again, only to empty it once more. He sets the cup down and looks at you with a calm, quiet smile. No words are needed. You feel the lesson before you understand it. The empty cup holds the most. Your mind has been full all day, maybe all week, crowded with plans, worries, frustrations, ideas. But here, in the stillness of this moonlit tea house, you sense a shift. To truly be present, to truly receive, you must first make space. You pick up your own cup, feeling its smooth surface, its delicate rim. You tip it slowly, watching as the tea pours out in a thin, graceful stream. You feel an odd sense of relief, as if in that simple act, you've emptied something deeper inside you. The monk pours again, and this time you drink. The tea is warm, earthy, slightly bitter but soothing. You sip slowly, feeling the heat bloom in your chest, the flavor settle on your tongue. You're not just drinking tea, you're drinking quiet, drinking space, drinking presence. Outside, the wind rustles gently through the trees, the candle flame flickers, the shadows dance along the paper walls. Inside, the two of you sit in companionable silence, letting the moment stretch and soften. You notice how your shoulders have dropped, how your breath has slowed. You didn't force it. It happened naturally, as you made room for it. The monk places the teapot down and gestures toward the window. You follow his gaze, seeing the reflection of the moon in the glass. It shimmers slightly, distorted by the faint ripples of the candlelight. He raises one hand and slowly circles it in the air. You watch, puzzled for a moment, until it clicks. The reflection isn't the moon. It's just light bouncing on a surface. You've been staring at the image, but the real moon waits outside, vast and silent, untouched by the flicker of the candle or the warp of the window pane. You close your eyes for a moment, breathing this in. How often do you mistake the image for the truth? How often do you chase after distorted reflections of your own thoughts, instead of resting in the deeper, undisturbed stillness? The monk stands, his robes whispering softly. You rise with him, stepping back out into the cool night. The courtyard feels different now, wider, gentler, as if the very air has been cleared. You look up at the moon, full and bright, hanging in the vast sweep of the sky. The monk leads you along a winding path that curves around the tea house and into a small garden. The trees here are ancient, their twisted trunks heavy with moss. Small stone lanterns mark the path, their light dim but steady. You walk slowly, your feet brushing against fallen leaves. You feel the tea's warmth still lingering inside you, a quiet reminder of the space you've made. The restless mind isn't gone, but it's quieter now, like a cup that no longer sloshes over the rim. In the center of the garden, the monk pauses before a large stone basin filled with water. The moon reflects perfectly on its still surface, a silver coin floating in the dark. You kneel beside the monk, gazing into the water. For a long time, neither of you speaks. You watch the moon's reflection shimmer, knowing that any ripple, any disturbance would scatter the image. But the real moon, the real stillness, remains untouched above. You begin to understand. The restless mind isn't the problem. It's the clinging, the grasping, the trying to hold on to every thought, every feeling, every moment. The monk reaches out and gently taps the surface of the water. Ripples spread, breaking the reflection into trembling shards. But when the ripples fade, the moon returns, perfect, unbroken, always there. You smile softly, feeling a deep release. You don't need to keep the surface perfectly still. You only need to know that underneath the ripples, the stillness waits. As you rise to leave, you glance once more at the water, at the moon overhead, at the soft glow of the garden lanterns. You feel lighter, as if some weight you hadn't realized you were carrying has been set down. Walking beside the monk, you sense a quiet invitation to carry this emptiness with you, to make space in your crowded mind for stillness to pour in, like an empty teacup, ready to be filled, not with more noise, more thoughts, more plans, but with the simple, quiet presence of this moment. You walk back toward the edge of the village, the night opening wide around you. The stars glitter softly above. The moon lights your path, and somewhere far off, the bamboo still whispers. You feel the hush settle deeper into your bones, knowing you can return to this emptiness, this fullness, whenever you need. You close your eyes briefly, feeling the cool night air on your face, hearing the soft rustle of the monk's robes, the faint crackle of the lanterns in the distance. And you know, in the deepest part of yourself, that you are exactly where you need to be. The night has grown heavier, darker, but it doesn't feel threatening. It feels thick with possibility, like the pause between two notes of a song. You follow the monk through the village, past shuttered houses and quiet lanes, until you reach the edge of a pine forest. Here, the trees stand tall and dark, their needles rustling faintly overhead. As you step beneath the boughs, the world narrows. The path becomes soft underfoot, muffled by a bed of fallen needles. Above, the stars disappear behind thick branches. Only a faint light guides you now, a pale glow that seems to float through the forest like a willow, the wisp. You follow it, feeling your breath slow, your heart steady. The monk walks ahead, his silhouette calm and sure. The light leads you deeper, until you arrive at a clearing where an ancient bell tower rises against the night sky. The bell itself is enormous, cast in dark bronze, but it hangs silent. No rope, no clapper, nothing to strike it. The monk sits cross-legged before the bell, closing his eyes. You settle beside him, feeling the coolness of the stone beneath you. The silent bell looms above, its surface etched with faint patterns, worn smooth by time. For a long while you simply sit. You become aware of the sounds around you. The wind moving softly through the trees, the creak of ancient wood, the faint chirp of insects. You begin to notice the spaces between the sounds, the quiet gaps that hold everything together. The monk opens his eyes and gently taps his fingers on the ground, as if marking a rhythm you can't hear. You watch his hand, noticing the way his movements echo the stillness around you. Then you understand the bell doesn't need to ring. Its presence shapes the space, its silence holds the clearing. You close your eyes, letting yourself sink into that awareness. The restless mind wants noise, wants input, wants distraction. But here, with the silent bell, you begin to feel the power of stillness. Not absence, not emptiness, but a fullness that comes from resting in the moment without needing to fill it. Your breath deepens. You feel your shoulders drop, your hands relax, your jaw unclench. The silence isn't empty, it's alive, vibrant, humming just beneath the surface. The monk rises slowly, motioning for you to stand. You follow him up the steps of the bell tower, your feet moving quietly over the worn wood. At the top, you stand beside the great bell, looking out over the treetops. The moonlight casts a soft glow, painting the world in silver and shadow. The monk places his hand gently on the bell's surface, then on your chest, just over your heart. You feel the connection immediately, the deep, resonant stillness that lives not just in the bell, but in you. You close your eyes, feeling that quiet vibration expand through your chest, down your arms, into your legs, into the ground. You are the bell. Your stillness is your strength. For a moment, you imagine what it would sound like if the bell rang. A deep, echoing note rolling out across the forest, shaking the trees, stirring the stars. But then you realize the silence is the note. The stillness is the song. You and the monk stand together in that quiet, feeling the night pulse softly around you. You begin to understand that silence isn't the absence of sound. It's the presence of something deeper, something that holds and cradles everything. Descending the tower, you walk slowly back into the clearing. The air feels charged now, as if the bell's silent presence has awakened something inside you. The monk leads you along a narrow path that winds through the trees, the moonlight slipping in through the branches, painting pale patterns on the forest floor. You walk without speaking, without needing to. Each step lands softly. Each breath moves smoothly. The restless thoughts that clattered in your mind earlier seem to have quieted, as if they've been wrapped gently in the hush of the forest. At the edge of the trees, the monk pauses, turning to face you. He raises his hands slightly, palms open, and gives a small, knowing nod. You understand. You carry the bell's silence within you now. You can return to it whenever the noise of the world becomes too much. You step out from the forest into a wide, open field. The stars stretch vast above you. The moon hangs heavy and bright. You feel the stillness pulse through your chest, a quiet strength that hums just beneath your skin. You close your eyes, feeling the cool night air, the soft rustle of grass, the faint scent of pine. You take a slow breath in, and as you exhale, you feel the silent bell resonate inside you, a deep, calm presence that needs no sound to be heard. You smile softly, feeling a quiet gratitude for this moment, for this night, for this journey. You know the restless mind will stir again, will pull you toward noise and distraction. But now you have a place to return to, a silent bell within, always waiting to remind you of the strength of stillness. You turn, following the monk as he moves quietly across the field, his figure outlined by moonlight. Together, you walk through the night, the silent bell ringing gently in your heart, guiding you deeper into calm, deeper into presence, deeper into peace. The night opens wider as you follow the monk toward an old stone bridge stretching over a slow, moving river. The moonlight glints faintly on the water's surface, and the bridge arches gently, its stones worn smooth by countless feet over the centuries. You feel the cool stone beneath your hands as you trail your fingers along the edge. The river below murmurs softly, its voice steady and unhurried. The monk pauses halfway across, his gaze lowered to a single footprint left faintly in the dust, a trace of someone who crossed before you. Now nearly erased by wind and time, you kneel beside the mark, noticing its delicate outline. It's so easy to imagine the person who left it, perhaps a traveler like you, perhaps long gone. But then, just as quickly, the image fades. The footprint is already crumbling, its shape softening, blurring into the stone. The monk looks at you with a small, wistful smile. You sense the lesson without needing words. Everything leaves a mark, but nothing lasts forever. Impermanence is not something to fear, it's simply the way of things. You close your eyes for a moment, feeling the gentle pull of the river's voice below, the hush of the night around you, the subtle coolness of the stone. You think of all the thoughts, worries, and moments that have passed through your mind today, this week, this month. So many footprints, so many impressions, all slowly fading, and yet here you are, still breathing, still present, still here on this old stone bridge, in the middle of the night, with the moon shining softly above. The monk moves quietly to the edge and gazes down at the river. You join him, watching the way the water carries small leaves and twigs downstream, never hesitating, never turning back. You understand the mind is like the river. Thoughts, feelings, moments, they pass through. You can watch them without clinging, without needing to hold on to every one. You feel the restless part of your mind stir, wanting to latch onto this idea, to understand it, to make it useful. But the monk gives a soft shake of his head, as if sensing your impulse. He taps his chest gently, reminding you feel, don't grasp. You take a slow, steady breath, letting the cool night air fill your lungs. You imagine the thoughts slipping away, like water under the bridge, like footprints fading in the dust. You don't have to chase them. You don't have to hold them. The monk steps quietly to the other side of the bridge, and you follow. On the far bank, the land opens into a wide field, dotted with low stone markers and small shrines. Each shrine holds offerings, a few coins, a folded scrap of paper, a single flower left to dry and wither. You kneel beside one, running your fingers lightly over the stone. The monk crouches beside you, lighting a small stick of incense. The smoke curls upward in delicate spirals, thin and fleeting, dissolving almost as soon as it appears. You watch the smoke rise, feeling your breath match its soft, drifting pace. You sense the monk's presence beside you, calm, steady, unhurried. You realize that impermanence is not something he resists, it's something he honors. Each footprint, each wisp of smoke, each fading leaf carries its own quiet beauty. You close your eyes again, feeling the cool earth beneath your knees, the faint warmth of the incense near your hands. You let the restless mind soften, let the need to capture or keep dissolve. You sit in the awareness that everything you experience, even this moment, is passing, and that's okay. You open your eyes, watching the last thin trails of smoke curl away into the night. The monk rises, offering you a hand. You stand together, feeling lighter, less burdened by the weight of things you cannot hold on to. As you walk through the field, you glance back at the bridge, its arch now glowing softly in the moonlight. You know that footprints will come and go, that memories will soften and fade, that moments will pass through you like water under the bridge. And yet, you also know this: the presence you carry right now, this breath, this step, this quiet companionship, is enough. You don't need to hold everything forever. You only need to be here, fully, right now. You walk side by side with the monk, feeling the night stretch out ahead of you, vast and open. The stars glitter softly above, the river murmurs quietly behind, the stone markers stand silently along your path. You feel the restless mind settle just a little more, soothed by the gentle truth that everything changes, everything passes, and in that passing, there is a quiet, beautiful peace. The path narrows as you and the monk leave the open field, winding now into a rocky hillside where the trees thin out and the land grows more rugged. You step carefully over uneven stones, the soles of your feet feeling the cool, rough texture. Ahead you glimpse the faint outline of a small hut, half hidden among the rocks and scrub brush. As you approach, you notice the walls are weathered, the wooden beams cracked, the paper windows patched with rough cloth. Smoke curls softly from a small chimney. The monk leads you to the door, but before you step inside, you catch your own reflection in a piece of broken mirror leaning against the wall. You pause. The mirror is old, its surface warped and cracked into jagged shapes. Your reflection is split, fractured, eyes stretched long, mouth curved oddly, pieces of yourself scattered across sharp shards. For a moment, it unsettles you. You reach up instinctively to smooth your face, as if that would fix the reflection. The monk gently rests his hand on your shoulder. He turns the mirror slightly, and you watch as the fractured pieces catch the moonlight, scattering it into soft, shimmering rays. The brokenness doesn't destroy the light. It multiplies it. You breathe slowly, feeling your shoulders drop. The restless mind so often tries to smooth, to fix, to force things back into neat shapes. But maybe, just maybe, the cracks aren't mistakes. Maybe they're how the light gets in. Inside the hut, a small fire crackles in a stone hearth. The hermit, an old, wiry man with kind eyes, sits cross-legged by the fire, polishing a stone. He gestures for you to join him. You settle onto a cushion, feeling the warmth seep into your skin. The hermit picks up the cracked mirror and places it gently between you. Together, you gaze into it, watching how the firelight dances across the broken glass, how the shifting angles create patterns no smooth surface ever could. He speaks softly, his voice like dry leaves brushing together. When the mind shatters, don't rush to glue it back. Sit with the pieces. Watch how they catch the light. You close your eyes, feeling those words settle deep into your chest. You think of all the times you've rushed to fix yourself, the anxious spirals, the endless self-criticism, the frantic search for control. You realize that, in those moments, you were trying to force yourself back into a single, smooth piece. But what if you allowed the cracks? What if you sat quietly with your own jagged edges and simply watched the light move across them? You feel the restless mind soften slightly, loosening its grip. The hermit taps a finger on the mirror, drawing your gaze back. You watch the broken reflections shimmer and shift, feeling a strange kind of peace rise inside you. Not because everything is whole, but because you're learning to rest in the brokenness. The monk and the hermit begin to chant softly, their voices low and steady, weaving a rhythm that settles around you like a blanket. You breathe in time with them, letting the sound wash over you, letting it fill the spaces between the cracks. You feel the warmth of the fire on your skin, the roughness of the cushion beneath you, the flicker of the candlelight on the walls. For the first time in a long while, you don't feel the need to fix or change or perfect anything. You simply sit, broken and beautiful, letting the light move through you. The hermit passes you a small bowl of water. You gaze into its surface, seeing your reflection ripple and shift. You smile softly, knowing that no matter how much the image distorts, you are still here, still breathing, still whole in your own fragmented way. Outside, the wind picks up slightly, rattling the paper windows, brushing through the dry grass. You rise with the monk, bowing slightly to the hermit, feeling a quiet gratitude fill you. You step back into the cool night, the stars sharp and clear above. The cracked mirror leans quietly against the wall, catching the moonlight and scattering it into soft rays. You glance back once, feeling the restless part of your mind ease a little more, soothed by the realization that you don't need to fix every crack. You can simply be here, breathing, watching, allowing. You and the monk walk slowly down the rocky path, your footsteps light and unhurried. The night wraps gently around you, the stars watching silently overhead. You feel the broken pieces inside you shift slightly, settling into a new, more peaceful arrangement. You breathe deeply, feeling the cool air fill your lungs, feeling the quiet calm settle deeper into your bones. The restless mind may break, may crack, may shatter, but even then, even especially then, the light still finds a way in. You walk on, carrying this gentle truth with you, the cracked mirror glimmering softly in your memory, reminding you to sit with your brokenness, to let it shimmer, to let it shine. The night deepens as you and the monk make your way down a narrow slope, the ground soft with moss, the trees arching above in graceful curves. Ahead, you see the faint outline of a small house, its shape barely visible in the moonlight. As you approach, you notice the delicate frame of its sliding paper doors, thin, translucent, glowing faintly like a stretched skin of light. The monk pauses before the door, his fingers lightly brushing the paper. You reach out too, feeling the smooth surface beneath your fingertips. It seems so fragile, so insubstantial, that you wonder how it can possibly keep anything in or out. He slides the door open with a soft hiss. Inside, the room is sparse: a tatami mat, a small cushion, a single candle flickering gently in the corner. You step across the threshold, feeling the air shift slightly, the thin door separating you from the night outside. The monk gestures for you to sit. You settle onto the cushion, noticing how easily sound carries through the paper walls. The faint rustle of leaves, the distant chirp of insects, the soft sigh of wind. There's no shutting out the world here. The boundary between inside and outside feels delicate, almost imaginary. The monk sits across from you, his gaze calm and steady. He lifts a hand and presses it softly against the paper door, his palm resting flat. You mimic the gesture, feeling the slight give of the material, the way it flexes under your touch. You realize boundaries are not always solid. Sometimes they are as thin as paper, as soft as breath. You close your eyes, feeling the restless mind begin to press, all the worries, the tensions, the thoughts knocking at the edge of your awareness. You picture them as sounds outside the paper door, faint but persistent. Instead of trying to shut them out, you breathe deeply, allowing the thin barrier to remain soft, permeable. You let the sounds drift through, let the thoughts pass across the delicate surface. You don't have to block them. You don't have to control them. You simply let them move. The monk begins to hum softly, a low, steady tone that fills the room without overwhelming it. You match your breath to the rhythm, feeling the quiet vibration settle into your chest. With each inhale, you sense the boundaries of your body softening. With each exhale, you feel the world slipping gently through you. The candle flickers, casting faint shadows on the paper walls. You watch the light shift and dance, noticing how it moves without resistance, without hesitation. You begin to understand the restless mind can flow just as easily if you stop trying to trap it, stop trying to force it into solid shapes. The monk rises and walks slowly to the door. He slides it open once again, and cool night air slips into the room, brushing lightly across your skin. You shiver slightly, but you also feel a strange, peaceful openness, as if the world has expanded to include you, and you have expanded to include the world. Together, you step outside, the ground cool beneath your feet. The monk moves quietly through the small garden, pausing to touch the branches of a low pine, to adjust the angle of a stone lantern. You follow, noticing how every gesture is soft, unhurried, gentle. Nothing is forced, nothing is blocked. At the edge of the garden, the monk stops and looks back at the paper door, now glowing faintly in the moonlight. He raises a hand, fingers tracing the outline of the house, as if reminding you, all boundaries are softer than they seem. You close your eyes, letting that truth settle deep inside. The barriers between you and your restless mind, between you and the world, between you and peace, they are thinner than you realize. You don't need to tear them down. You only need to recognize their softness, their give, their delicate permeability. You breathe deeply, feeling the night flow through you, the wind brush past your skin, the moonlight slip across your face. You realize that you are not separate from this world, from this moment, from this stillness. You are part of it. You are within it. You are it. The monk leads you slowly away from the house. His footsteps light on the moss-covered path. You walk beside him, feeling the quiet night expand around you, feeling your own boundaries dissolve gently into the dark. You glance back once, seeing the faint outline of the paper door glowing softly behind you. You smile, knowing you can carry its lesson with you. The reminder that you don't need to build walls against your thoughts, your feelings, your restlessness. You only need to soften, to allow to breathe. You walk on, the monk's figure calm and steady beside you, the night humming softly with life. You feel the restless mind ease just a little more, comforted by the knowledge that the boundaries you once feared are no more solid than a paper door, no more rigid than a breath passing softly through the night. The path bends gently now, leading you and the monk down toward a quiet pond tucked beneath low hills. The water is dark, still, smooth as polished stone. Overhead, the moon drifts in and out of thin clouds, its pale reflection shimmering faintly on the pond's surface. You walk slowly along the edge, your footsteps soft on the damp earth. The monk pauses beneath a gnarled willow, its long branches trailing down to touch the water. He gestures for you to sit, and you lower yourself onto the ground, feeling the coolness of the grass beneath you. Across the pond, a single white crane stands motionless, its long neck curved, its head tucked beneath its wing. You watch its stillness, marveling at how perfectly at ease it seems, balanced on one thin leg, unmoving in the moonlight. The monk settles beside you, his gaze fixed softly on the crane. He breathes slowly, deeply, the rise and fall of his chest matching the gentle rhythm of the night. You take a breath too, letting the air fill your lungs, then exhaling slowly, feeling the tension begin to slip from your shoulders. For a long while, you simply watch. The restless part of your mind stirs, wanting to name, to explain, to understand. How can the crane balance so perfectly? How can it sleep like that, exposed, unguarded, vulnerable? But as the minutes pass, those questions fade. The crane's presence is its own answer. Effortless rest, unshaken stillness. You close your eyes briefly, feeling the quiet seep into you. You imagine yourself like the crane, balanced, poised, utterly at ease. You feel your own breath settle, your own body relax, your own mind begin to soften. The monk reaches down and picks up a smooth stone, turning it slowly in his hands. He leans toward you slightly, whispering softly, "See how the stone rests in my palm. It is held, but it does not grip. The crane rests on one leg, but it does not strain. You too can rest, not by forcing stillness, but by allowing it." You breathe deeply, feeling the truth of his words settle into your chest. You sense how often you have approached rest with tension, trying to make yourself relax, trying to achieve calm, trying to earn peace. But here, in the moonlit stillness, you realize rest is your natural state. You only need to allow it. The crane shifts slightly, its feathers ruffling softly in the night breeze. Then it settles again, still as stone, unbothered by the small movements of the world around it. You feel a quiet joy rise in you, watching this gentle, perfect stillness, knowing it mirrors something inside you. The monk closes his eyes, his breath slowing further. You follow his lead, letting your own breath deepen, letting your body grow heavier, letting your thoughts drift like soft clouds across the pond. You feel the night cradle you, the earth hold you, the air brush softly against your skin. You open your eyes once more, watching the crane sleep beneath the moon. You know now that this stillness is not something you have to fight for. It's something you return to, something you remember, something you already carry within. The monk rises slowly, motioning for you to follow. You stand, feeling the cool earth beneath your feet, the hush of the night around you. You glance back at the pond one last time, watching the crane still poised in perfect rest. As you walk away, you feel the lesson settle deeper into you. You can rest without collapsing. You can be still without tension. You can let go without losing balance. You and the monk move quietly through the dark, the night expanding around you like a great, soft blanket. You feel the restless mind ease further, soothed by the memory of the sleeping crane, comforted by the gentle truth that you too can rest in effortless stillness. You walk on, your footsteps light, your breath slow, your heart calm. The moon follows you overhead, the stars shimmer softly in the sky, and the crane sleeps by the pond, a quiet reminder that peace is always waiting, just beneath the surface, ready to welcome you home. The air turns cooler as you follow the monk up a narrow trail lined with tall trees, whose leaves drift silently to the ground. The wind picks up slightly, brushing a few delicate shapes past your face, golden, amber, pale red, each leaf twisting slowly as it descends, riding the invisible currents of the night. You pause, watching one leaf in particular. It spirals lazily, its edges curling inward, its color softened by the moonlight. It drifts, unhurried, weightless, surrendering fully to the air. The monk stops beside you, his gaze following the falling leaf. He lifts his hand slightly, palm open, and the leaf lands there without a sound. You both watch it rest quietly in his palm, fragile, light, already beginning to dry and curl. He smiles softly and offers the leaf to you. You take it gently, feeling its delicate texture, the fine network of veins running across its surface. You hold it up to the moonlight, marveling at its quiet beauty, its graceful surrender to time. For a long moment, neither of you moves. You stand there on the trail, the wind stirring softly, more leaves drifting down all around you. And then you understand. The falling leaf is not fighting gravity. It is not clinging to the branch. It is not struggling to stay aloft. It is letting go. You close your eyes, feeling the restless part of your mind stir. All the thoughts you've been holding on to, all the tensions you've been carrying, all the tight grips you've kept on things you cannot control. You feel them now, as if they are curled up inside your chest, pressing outward. The monk begins to walk slowly again, and you follow, the leaf still resting lightly in your hand. With each step, you imagine those restless thoughts loosening, softening, uncurling. You picture them like leaves on a branch, ready to release, ready to drift gently away. The trail opens onto a small clearing where a circle of smooth stones marks the center. The monk sits quietly on one of the stones, motioning for you to join him. You settle onto another. The leaf still in your hand, the wind brushing softly across your face. The monk closes his eyes, his breath slowing, his hands resting open on his knees. You mirror his posture, letting your shoulders drop, letting your spine lengthen, letting your breath move in and out without effort. With each inhale, you gather the tightness, the grip, the restless energy. With each exhale, you let it loosen, let it drift, let it fall. You imagine the leaves inside you letting go, one by one, each releasing into the night air, each surrendering with grace. The wind picks up slightly, sending a soft shower of leaves across the clearing. You open your eyes, watching them swirl and dance, feeling a quiet joy rise inside you. There is no sadness here, no sense of loss, only the beauty of release, the peace of letting go. The monk opens his eyes and gives you a small, knowing smile. He reaches out, palm up, and you gently place the leaf you've been holding into his hand. He lifts it softly, watching it catch the wind, watching it spiral away into the dark. You breathe deeply, feeling the space left behind, the gentle emptiness where tension once lived. You realize you are not diminished by letting go. You are lighter, freer, more at ease. As you rise to leave the clearing, you glance back once, watching the leaves continue to fall, their graceful descent painting the night with quiet motion. You feel the restless mind soften further, soothed by the gentle truth that you don't need to hold everything. You can release, you can trust, you can let go. You and the monk walk quietly back down the trail, the wind at your back, the moonlight guiding your steps. You feel each breath as a small release, each step as a gentle surrender, each moment as an invitation to ease. The night hums softly around you, the leaves drift slowly past, and the restless mind, no longer clutching, no longer grasping, begins to settle into the calm, open space that letting go has made. The trail winds upward now, leading you and the monk toward the base of a great mountain shrouded in drifting clouds. As you climb, the air grows thinner, cooler, edged with a damp chill that clings lightly to your skin. The moon hangs low, sometimes veiled, sometimes clear, its pale light cutting softly through the mist. You feel your breath deepen, your steps slow, your heart steady. The monk moves ahead with the same gentle pace he always carries, his figure calm and sure even as the path narrows and the incline sharpens. The clouds swirl around you like wandering thoughts, like fog inside the mind. For a moment, the restless part of you rises again, the questioning, the self-doubt, the chatter, why climb? What waits at the top? What if you stumble? What if you fail? But the monk stops, turning to glance back at you with a small, amused smile. He waits, his eyes soft, his breath steady, his presence a quiet invitation. Keep going. Not because you must conquer the mountain, but because you are already on it. You take a slow breath, feeling the cool air fill your lungs, and you continue upward, step by step, letting each inhale steady you, letting each exhale lighten your load. As you climb, you notice how the clouds press against your skin, how they slip through your fingers, how they swirl gently across the path. Impossible to hold, impossible to fight. You realize your restless thoughts are the same. No matter how hard you grasp, they slip away, reform, dissolve. You reach a small plateau where the ground flattens and a lone pine tree leans into the mist. The monk sits beneath it, his hands resting softly on his knees, his gaze turned upward into the clouds. You settle beside him, feeling your breath slow, your heart steady, your muscles relax. The monk picks up a small stone and places it gently in your palm. It is light, smooth, cool to the touch. He closes your fingers around it, then touches his own chest lightly, then yours. You understand, the weight you carry is not the stone. It is the holding. You breathe deeply, feeling the stone's gentle presence in your hand. You notice how your fingers tighten slightly, how your mind instinctively clings, wanting to keep, wanting to possess. You smile softly, realizing you can let go. You open your hand slowly, watching the stone rest quietly on your palm, perfectly balanced, needing no grip. The clouds drift lower, wrapping the mountaintop in a soft hush. The monk rises, motioning for you to follow. Together, you continue upward, your steps light, your breath easy, your hands open. At the summit, the world feels vast and quiet. The sky stretching wide above, the clouds rolling softly below. You stand on the edge, looking out over a sea of mist, feeling the cool wind brush across your skin. The monk stands beside you, his robes fluttering gently, his gaze calm and steady. You close your eyes, breathing deeply, feeling the mountain beneath your feet, the sky above your head, the clouds drifting through you. You realize now that the weight of your restless mind, the heaviness you've carried, the burden you've felt, it was never the thoughts themselves. It was the gripping, the clinging, the need to hold and control. Here on the mountaintop, you let it go. You breathe, you open, you release. You feel the lightness seep into your bones, into your chest, into your heart. The monk gives you a small, knowing nod, and together you sit at the summit, watching the clouds roll by, feeling the vast, open quiet of the mountain settle gently around you. You sense the truth deep within thee. You are not the weight you carry. You are the sky, the wind, the mountain, the quiet space beyond it all. As the night deepens, the stars begin to pierce through the thinning clouds, their faint light shimmering softly in the dark. You breathe slowly, feeling the restless mind ease even further, soothed by the gentle truth that beyond the weight, beyond the thoughts, beyond the clouds, there is always lightness, always stillness, always peace. You rise with the monk, your steps light as you begin the descent. The mountain stretches out below you, the clouds parting softly, the path wide and welcoming. You walk slowly, feeling the freedom of the lightness you now carry, the open sky within you, the quiet strength of the mountain beneath your feet. You descend the mountain under a sky sprinkled with stars, your steps steady and slow. The monk walks just ahead, his figure outlined in silver moonlight, his robes whispering softly as they move. The air is crisper now, carrying a faint scent of pine and cool stone. As the path winds downward, you spot a small wooden hut tucked beside a rock ledge. Inside, a single candle flickers, its glow casting long, wavering shadows on the walls. The monk leads you to the door, and you slip quietly inside. The room is bare, only a low table, 2 cushions, and a single trembling candle. The flame shudders each time a draft sneaks in through the old wooden boards, its tiny light straining against the night's breath. You sit opposite the monk, feeling the room's smallness, the candle's vulnerability. The monk picks up the candle carefully, shielding its flame with his hand. He brings it close, the warm light soft on his face, the glow dancing softly in his eyes. Then he places it on the table between you, its flame bending and recovering with every subtle gust of air. You watch the flame tremble. You notice how your mind tightens, willing it to hold, to stay upright, to survive the unpredictable wind. And yet, no matter how many times the draft pushes at it, the flame flickers back. Always returning to its center, the monk smiles softly, as if reading your thoughts. He places his palms flat on the table and nods gently, his eyes calm. You understand. The flame's strength is not in rigidity, but in its dance. Its resilience comes from its ability to bend, to sway, to move with the breath of the world around it. You close your eyes, feeling your own breath shift softly in your chest. You sense the restless mind, the part of you that clings, resists, braces, and you imagine it softening, loosening, swaying like the flame. You breathe in, feeling the inhale as a gentle gust. You breathe out, letting the exhale ripple through you like a soft wind. The monk begins to hum, a low, steady tone that matches the candle's quiet rhythm. You feel the sound settle into your chest, vibrating gently through your ribs, brushing softly at the edges of your thoughts. You let yourself lean into it, not resisting, not gripping, just moving gently with the flow. The wind pushes again at the candle, and once again the flame bows curves, but does not break. You realize your mind can do the same, bending under the weight of passing thoughts, yielding under the push of emotion, but always returning, always rising. You open your eyes, feeling a small, quiet smile touch your lips. You watch the candle flicker, no longer worrying whether it will hold, no longer needing it to stand perfectly still. You understand now that its dance is its strength. The monk rises slowly, lifting the candle carefully, carrying it outside into the night. You follow, stepping into the cool air, feeling the soft brush of the wind against your skin. The flame flickers, bows, wavers, but it holds, it endures, it shines. You walk together down a narrow path, the candle lighting the way. Its glow reaches only a few feet ahead, but it is enough. You feel the restless mind ease, comforted by the gentle truth that resilience does not mean stillness. It means movement, it means sway. It means dancing with the winds of life, not against them. You pause at a small clearing, the stars shimmering overhead, the candlelight casting soft patterns on the ground. The monk sets the candle down on a flat stone, and the two of you sit quietly, watching its flame move with the night. You close your eyes, breathing slowly, feeling the flame's quiet presence inside you. A soft, resilient light, bending but unbroken, always returning to its center, always shining. You sense the wind rise again, brushing gently through the trees, rippling softly across your skin. You feel the restless thoughts stir, but you no longer fear them. You let them come, let them pass, let them push gently at your flame, knowing you will sway. You will bend, but you will not break. As you rise to leave, you glance once more at the candle, its flame still dancing softly in the wind. You smile, carrying its lesson with you. The quiet, gentle resilience that lives within you, always steady, always alive, always ready to shine. You walk on, the monk by your side, the stars guiding your path, the candle's soft glow lighting the way forward. The night is vast. The winds are endless, but your light endures, bending, swaying, always returning, always shining. The night path narrows as you and the monk leave the clearing. Your feet brushing softly over small pebbles scattered along the trail. You notice a faint discomfort in your step, a small stone pressing inside your sandal. You pause instinctively, bending slightly to remove it, but the monk raises a gentle hand, his eyes calm, a soft smile on his lips. He gives the tiniest shake of his head, motioning for you to continue walking. You hesitate, feeling the pressure of the stone against the sole of your foot, the faint ache beginning to rise. The restless part of your mind flares. Shouldn't I fix this? Why keep walking with this irritation? But the monk's quiet presence invites you into something different. An invitation to walk with the discomfort, not against it. You breathe slowly, feeling the stone's presence with each step, feeling the way your body tenses slightly in response. You notice how your mind leaps to problem, solving, stop, fix, remove, correct. But as you keep walking, something subtle begins to shift. Instead of bracing, you begin to soften. Instead of tightening around the discomfort, you begin to let it be. With each inhale, you feel the ache, the rub, the slight sting. With each exhale, you let it pass through you, like a wave that rises and falls, like a passing cloud, like a sound in the night. The monk walks beside you, his steps slow, his breath steady. He touches his chest lightly, then taps his foot, reminding you this body, this mind, this path, they are not separate. The discomfort belongs, just as the ease does. You take another slow breath, feeling the small stone press against your foot, feeling your body's response, feeling your mind's reaction, and then letting it all be. You realize you can walk with the discomfort without letting it define you, without letting it control you. The trail widens into a small grove, where the moonlight filters through tall pines, casting pale shadows on the ground. The monk gestures for you to sit, and you lower yourself onto a soft bed of pine needles, feeling the cool earth beneath you, feeling the quiet night wrap gently around you. You remove your sandal, holding it softly in your hands, turning it slowly to reveal the small stone tucked inside. It's tiny, so small you wonder how it caused any trouble at all. You roll it between your fingers, feeling its rough edges, its cool weight, its humble presence. The monk leans forward slightly, his eyes crinkling with a soft smile. He taps the stone lightly, then taps his own chest, and you understand. The small irritations, the small discomforts, the small stones along the path, they will always be there. You can remove them, yes, but you can also learn to walk with them, to soften around them, to let them pass through without resistance. You close your eyes, holding the small stone gently in your palm. You breathe slowly, feeling your heart beat softly, feeling the restless mind ease just a little more. You realize you don't need to make everything perfect to find peace. You only need to walk gently, to breathe kindly, to let the discomfort move through without tightening, without bracing, without turning away. The monk rises, and you follow, slipping the stone back onto the ground, slipping your sandal back onto your foot. You take a slow step forward, feeling the cool earth beneath you, feeling the quiet night expand around you, feeling the soft, steady strength of your own presence. You and the monk walk quietly through the grove, the trees arching above, the stars scattered softly across the sky. You feel the restless mind settle further, comforted by the gentle truth that you don't have to fight every small irritation, every small ache, every small stone along the way. You can walk with them, you can soften around them, you can let them be. As you move through the night, you sense the subtle, growing calm within you. Not a calm that depends on the absence of discomfort, but a calm that lives even alongside it. A calm that weaves through every ache, every pressure, every challenge. You smile softly, feeling the night breeze brush across your skin, feeling the pine needles whisper beneath your feet, feeling the quiet, steady rhythm of your own breath. You walk on, the monk by your side, the stars guiding you forward. The small stones no longer obstacles, but gentle teachers showing you the way. The trail softens as you and the monk leave the pine grove, your footsteps landing on smooth stone worn by centuries of rain. Ahead, you see the faint outline of a tiled rooftop, its edges curved gently upward like a smile. As you approach, you hear it, the soft, rhythmic patter of raindrops striking old tiles. The rain is light, almost hesitant, falling in delicate sheets that glisten under the moonlight. You pause, closing your eyes, letting the sound wrap around you like a quiet song. There's no rush to move forward, no urgency to find shelter. You stand perfectly still, listening, letting the rhythm of the rain slip into your breath, into your chest, into the restless spaces of your mind. The monk moves ahead, stepping carefully into a small courtyard lined with stone lanterns and weathered wooden beams. The roof above drips softly, each drop falling with its own tiny voice, its own perfect timing. You follow, feeling the coolness of the damp air, the fresh scent of rain-soaked earth. The monk kneels by the edge of the building, watching the raindrops slide down the curved tiles, gathering briefly in shallow pools before spilling over and falling to the ground. He traces a line in the damp dust with his finger, a smooth curve, simple and unhurried, and then sits back, letting the rain draw its own patterns over his marks. You kneel beside him, noticing how the restless mind wants to jump, to plan, to think ahead. How long will it rain? Should we keep going? Will the path become muddy? But the monk's stillness invites you to let go of these questions, to simply watch, to listen, to be. You close your eyes again, breathing slowly, feeling the gentle tap of raindrops on your skin, the cool kiss of the damp air. You begin to notice the delicate interplay of sounds, the high, pitched drip from the rooftop, the lower patter on stone, the soft splash into puddles forming along the path. Each sound carries its own rhythm, its own small place in the night's quiet symphony. You realize the rain has no need to rush, no need to impress, no need to prove anything. It simply falls, moment by moment, drop by drop, shaping the world softly, steadily, over time. The monk opens his hands, palms facing upward, letting the rain collect briefly in his cupped fingers. You mimic his gesture, feeling the cool droplets gather, then spill over, slipping between your fingers and returning to the earth. You understand some things are meant to pass through you. You don't need to hold them. You only need to feel them, to witness them, to let them come and go. The rain begins to ease, thinning into a fine mist, a soft hush settling over the courtyard. The monk rises, his robes darkened slightly by the damp, his movements slow and unbothered. You stand as well, feeling the freshness of the rain still lingering on your skin, the quiet rhythm of the night humming softly around you. Together, you walk through the courtyard, the stone lanterns glistening faintly, the path slick but steady beneath your feet. You feel the restless mind soften further, soothed by the gentle truth that peace is not found by controlling the world, but by attuning to its natural rhythms, by moving gently with its patterns, by letting its rain fall through you without resistance. You pause at the edge of a wide stone basin where raindrops still ripple across the surface, distorting the reflection of the moon and stars. You watch the ripples slowly fade, the surface gradually returning to stillness, the reflection reappearing, clear and calm. You breathe deeply, feeling the night air slip into your lungs, feeling the damp earth under your feet, feeling the restless mind settle into a quiet, easy rhythm. You realize you can carry this with you. The patience of the rain, the softness of its touch, the steady trust that every drop finds its place in time. As you and the monk leave the courtyard, you glance back once, watching the last few drops fall softly from the eaves, the roof tiles shining faintly in the moonlight. You walk on, your steps light, your breath slow, your heart calm, knowing that the rain has left its quiet mark on you, shaping you gently, drop by drop, into something softer, something clearer, something more at peace. The air is crisp now, touched with the faintest edge of dawn, though the sky remains dark, the stars still visible through thin gaps in the clouds. You and the monk walk quietly along a narrow forest path, the earth soft beneath your feet, the night filled with the rustling sounds of small creatures moving through the underbrush. Suddenly, ahead, a flicker of movement, quick, silent, graceful. You pause, your breath catching slightly, your senses sharpening. There, at the edge of the trees, a slender shape emerges, a fox. Its pale fur glimmers faintly in the moonlight. Its ears pricked, its eyes sharp and bright. It pauses, still as a statue, watching you with quiet intensity. You feel the restless part of your mind stir, not with worry, not with fear, but with pure, focused attention. The monk holds up a hand gently, signaling you to stop, to stay perfectly still. You feel the air around you tighten slightly, the moment stretching wide and delicate. You watch the fox. The fox watches you. The night holds its breath. In that stillness, something stirs deep inside you. An alertness, an awareness, a presence. You feel every breath, every heartbeat, every tiny shift of your muscles. You realize the restless mind is not always the enemy. Sometimes it is the part of you that wakes up, sharpens, tunes in, becomes fully alive. The fox tilts its head slightly, its eyes never leaving yours. For a brief, electric moment, you feel a strange sense of connection, as if the two of you share something ancient and unspoken. A knowing, a recognition, a quiet presence that cuts through all noise and thought. Then, as silently as it appeared, the fox slips back into the shadows, vanishing into the trees, leaving only the faint stir of leaves in its wake. You let out a slow breath, feeling your body relax, feeling your senses slowly settle. The monk turns to you, his eyes shining softly, a faint smile touching his lips. He taps his chest lightly, then points to the place where the fox disappeared. You understand the sharp, clear awareness you just touched. That lives inside you too. You carry it with you, even when you forget, even when the restless mind pulls you away. You walk on, your steps quieter now, your breath softer. your mind humming with a subtle, steady presence. You notice the delicate sounds of the night, the rustle of leaves, the soft creak of tree branches, the faint murmur of wind. You feel yourself tune into each sound, each shift, each small movement, without needing to control or capture it. The path leads to a small hill, where the trees open up and the stars spread wide overhead. You and the monk sit quietly on a large flat rock, gazing up at the sky. You close your eyes, feeling the presence of the fox still lingering in your chest. That alert, quiet watchfulness, that still, grounded awareness. You realize you can carry this presence with you, even when the mind stirs, even when thoughts scatter, even when the world pulls at you. You can return to this quiet alertness, this deep, grounded knowing, whenever you need. The monk reaches into his sleeve and pulls out a small bundle, a piece of folded cloth, which he unwraps to reveal a small wooden carving of a fox. He places it gently in your hands, his eyes meeting yours with a steady, knowing gaze. You hold the carving softly, feeling its smooth shape, its delicate lines, its quiet strength. You breathe deeply, letting the memory of the fox settle into you. The grace of its movement, the sharpness of its gaze, the quiet of its presence. You feel the restless mind ease further, soothed not by stillness alone, but by the deep, quiet alertness that watches from beneath it all. As you rise to leave, you carry the wooden fox with you, feeling its presence tucked softly in your hand, a reminder of the quiet watcher that lives inside you, always ready to rise, to see, to know, to return you to the present moment. You and the monk walk down the hill, the night still and soft around you, the stars fading slowly as the first pale hints of dawn touch the edges of the sky. You feel your breath slow, your steps steady, your heart calm, knowing you carry the silent fox within you now, its quiet alertness guiding you gently home. The sky has shifted now, no longer the deep black of night, but a velvety blue streaked with the faintest hints of grey. You and the monk walk quietly through a wide meadow, the grass damp with dew, the world hushed in the tender hour just before dawn. Ahead, you see a small lake, its surface still and dark, reflecting the faint shimmer of the moon. The monk leads you to its edge, where smooth stones line the shore, and the water laps gently against them, with a sound so soft you barely hear it. You kneel, gazing into the lake's surface. The moon's reflection shimmers faintly, a pale, quivering glow rippling with every subtle movement of the water. You reach out with your hand, but the monk gently stops you, his fingers lightly touching your wrist. He shakes his head softly, his gaze calm, inviting you to just watch. So you sit still, your breath slow, your body quiet, your eyes resting on the delicate play of moonlight on water. You notice how easily the reflection wavers, how quickly a passing breeze or a tiny ripple distorts the image. You feel the restless mind stir, wanting to smooth the water, wanting the moon's face to appear perfectly still. But then, the monk's soft voice reaches you, whispering, "Look deeper." You breathe, sinking your gaze past the surface, past the shimmering reflection, past the restless play of light and shadow. You sense, somehow, the stillness beneath it all, the deep, unmoving water below, the quiet depth that is untouched by the ripples above. The monk picks up a small stone and tosses it gently into the lake. You watch as the ripples widen, breaking the moon's image into shimmering fragments, but you no longer feel the need to fix it. You smile softly, realizing that the real moon is still there, high above, perfect and whole, untouched by the dance on the water's surface. You close your eyes, feeling the restless mind settle deeper. You sense the ripples of your own thoughts, your own emotions, your own shifting moods, and you realize that they, too, are just surface movements. Beneath them always is a stillness that never leaves, a quiet depth that holds you steady no matter what stirs above. The monk touches your shoulder lightly, guiding you to stand. Together, you walk slowly along the lake's edge, the moon's reflection following you softly across the water. The first pale hints of sunrise begin to creep into the sky, brushing the clouds with soft pink and gold. You feel the night's journey settling into your bones. The lantern's light, the bamboo's hush, the empty cup, the silent bell, the fading footprints, the cracked mirror, the paper door, the sleeping crane, the falling leaf, the mountaintop, the flickering candle, the small stone in the shoe, the rain on old tiles, the silent fox. Each moment a ripple, each lesson a gentle wave, each experience a movement across the surface of your life. And beneath it all, beneath every restless thought, every passing fear, every flicker of doubt, stillness. Depth, quiet presence. The monk pauses, turning to face you as the first rays of sunlight touch the lake. He bows slightly, his eyes warm and knowing. You bow in return, feeling a quiet gratitude bloom in your chest. You turn back to the lake one last time, watching the moon's reflection fade into the growing light, the ripples smoothing out, the water stilling into perfect calm. You take a slow breath, feeling the restless mind settle completely, held by the quiet truth that you can return to this depth anytime, anywhere, simply by pausing, simply by noticing, simply by allowing yourself to rest in the stillness beneath the surface. As you and the monk walk away from the water's edge, the sun rises slowly behind you, bathing the world in soft, golden light. You feel the calm hum of the earth beneath your feet, the steady rhythm of your own breath, the quiet song of the morning unfolding around you. You carry the moon's reflection with you now, not as something to fix or control, but as a gentle reminder. Beneath every ripple, beneath every restless stir, beneath every passing thought, there is always stillness, always depth, always peace. You walk on, the monk beside you, the sun warming your back, the lake behind you shimmering softly in the dawn. The restless mind has quieted, the journey has softened you. The stillness is yours to keep. Wind down as the journey draws to its close. You feel the softness of the morning settle around you like a quiet blanket. The monk's figure grows smaller in the distance, his calm steps leading away across the sunlit path. You stand still for a moment, feeling the warmth of the rising sun touch your skin, hearing the faint rustle of leaves, the soft whisper of the breeze, the gentle lapping of water far behind you. You take a slow, deep breath, feeling your chest rise and fall, feeling the quiet hum of life within you. You notice how the restless mind, once crowded, once noisy, once full of tangled thoughts, now feels like a wide, open sky. The memories of the night's stories drift softly through you, the lantern's glow, the bamboo's whisper, the empty cup, the silent bell, the fading footprint, the cracked mirror, the paper door, the sleeping crane, the falling leaf, the clouded mountain, the flickering candle, the small stone, the rain on old tiles, the silent fox, the moon's reflection. Each one a gentle thread, woven into the fabric of your being, settling you into stillness, anchoring you in peace. You smile softly, knowing that these stories are now part of you. Quiet guides you can return to whenever you need. You take one last slow breath, letting the calm settle deep into your bones, knowing you are ready to rest, knowing you are exactly where you need to be. Sleep well, breathe easy, you are home.